Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the John Gaunt Show. This is an extra show. It's Sunday afternoon as Britain burns. The Southport riots, 1 year on. Well, it will be on Tuesday. So I'm asking the question, and it needs to be asked today because of what's happening in the migrant hotels. Will the UK explode again this summer? And I really need you to join in. I want your views. If you've got an opinion, why don't you just tap in a comment now? Press the like button as well and tell me that you're enjoying the show. This is John Gaunt. Southport riots, 1 year on. Will the UK explode again this summer? That's the question I'm asking. And if it does, whose fault will it be? I've shown a picture behind me today. If you're watching on YouTube, it's Yvette Cooper. It's Keir Starmer with a wreath when he went to Southport, then ran away. And then, of course, it's the man who caused all this, Rudy Cabana, Axel Rudy Cabana. But I've put a title there, Enemy of the People. Is that too harsh? Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's talk about it in today's show. So let's get going then. Let's set the agenda and let's see what you've got to say about all this. Please feel free to give me your comments ago. Okay, 1 year ago, as you know, Southport erupted. A knife attack at a children's workshop, Taylor Swift Disco, triggered a wave of riots across Britain. Now, the man responsible for that is obviously Rudy Cabana, the vicious monster. And if you saw the Southport, One Day in Southport documentary on Channel 4, I thought it was some of the most brilliant telly I've ever seen because they let the pictures tell the story. There was no narration. But you'll see how it was just an ordinary summer's day. He went in and he brutally murdered 3 little girls, savagely injured 10 others, and changed all of the lives of the people, the children in that room, forever. It triggered a wave of riots right across the UK. 1,800 arrests, dozens of towns up in flames, as the documentary showed. And now, it's got to be said, unrest is spreading again, not just in Epping, not just in Norfolk, but right across the UK. So I'm asking, is the United Kingdom about to explode again this summer? The police clearly think it is, and it might even be tonight. I'm not trying to be alarmist. I'm trying to say we need to talk about this because our Prime Minister doesn't. And I think that's one of the reasons everything went so wrong last summer. So let's talk about that. Why? How did it go wrong? Why did we end up with riots? And who's still getting it wrong? Well, I'm afraid Keir Starmer has to be in the picture, in the dock. He wasn't there when it mattered. He went missing in action, or inaction. He did visit Southport the day after the attack, but locals say he brought no answers and it was just a photo op, and then came the damage. Because what he also did that day, he arrived, he had the photo opportunity, people started calling him a wanker, and he turned on his heels, probably on security advice. But if you watch the documentary One Day in Southport on Channel 4 the other night, you'll see that he got back in the Range Rover and the Range Rover drove off at speed. What sign does that give? What signal does that give to the people? That's not leadership. I'm sorry, that's cowardice. Could he not have just said a few words, put his arm around, well, particularly that woman. One woman was screaming, middle-aged woman, maybe 40, 50. She said, I've just heard that my friend's daughter died. Her friend's daughter died. She's screaming. She's hysterical. What in Starmer? A good leader, even somebody like Blair, would have gone over, put his arm around her, tried to say something, either metaphorically or literally his arm. But not Starmer. He got back in his car. And if you watch that documentary One Day in Southport, many people on it said they felt that was the trigger point. But of course, Starmer didn't see it like that. Because he then went on about a week later, or a few days later, he called all the protesters far-right extremists, far-right thugs, even the locals who were caught in confusion and fear. And again, that documentary was brilliant at showing how a community was completely divided, but at the same time, so together in their grief. It was incredible. Why can't he feel that? Why can't he see that? Why can't he offer something? He ran away. And then as conspiracy theories flooded the internet and people started saying it was a Muslim, it was a new arrival, they then turned on the mosque. And there was a Muslim guy in the mosque. And he was in this documentary and he explained what the fear was like. And I don't blame him. It had nothing to do with him or his Muslim community there. It's still not clear whether Axel Rudikabana is a Muslim or not. He was brought up as a Christian and he's from a Rwandan background. But of course, the government made out he was from Cardiff. They said nothing for 48 hours. I must just stress again. Of course, the person who's mostly responsible for what happened last year is Rudikabana. However, what is Starmer's role in this, or Yvette Cooper's, the Home Secretary? The government said nothing as the conspiracy theories flooded the internet. They said absolutely jack all. I said at the time that this was a mistake. And this official silence created a vacuum. And that vacuum was filled with false speculation. They are not my words. They're the words of Jonathan Hall, KC, who is the UK's independent terrorism law watchdog. These words, the official silence created a vacuum, and that vacuum was filled with false speculation. He says the facts should have been released much sooner, i.e. that he was a Rwandan extraction. They knew who he was. He was in custody. There is a complication because he's 17. Not that he's a child. Yeah, officially he was a child, I understand. But a few weeks later, of course, they did release, a few days later, they did release the fact of who he was. They should have done that straight away. There would have been no real contempt of court. And as it turned out, he pleaded guilty anyway. And then later down the line, when they raided his house, you're not telling me Starmer didn't know on day one, that there was a terrorism manual there. The MI5, MI6 would have told him. And that also that this man was radicalized. It also brings real deep questions into Prevent, which I say is as useless as a chocolate fireguard. They had 3 occasions in which to take this madman off the streets. They didn't. I'll tell you what happened. The Labour government was so concerned that the white settled community, although it was a mixture of races from what I could see in the pictures, would kick off. And their very silence, actually, in my opinion, was the match that lit the riots. I'm not saying there weren't far-right thugs involved, and I thought the Channel 4 documentary was brilliant at showing that. But they didn't just say it was all far-right, because it clearly wasn't. If it was in my community, and a little girl, a friend of my girls, had been in that classroom, or they'd been to that class years before, I don't think I'd be able to control my reaction. What about you? So he says, this is Jonathan Hall, KC, King's Counsel, the independent terrorism law watchdog. He says Starmer should have said something earlier. He's backed up by somebody who I've interviewed many, many times over the years, Lord Carlisle, who's another former terrorism law advisor. And the quote from him is, the government failed to inform and protect. We then had days and days of rioting. People were left in the dark, ordinary working class people, the people who pay the wages of Starmer and all those security people and the police. They were left in the dark, then they were blamed. And I'm sorry to say this, and you may think I'm out of order for saying this. I think they're getting blamed again. That I think, Starmer's already mentioned far-right thuggery. He's already not taking responsibility for his part in it. He's never once said sorry. He hasn't said sorry for running off from Southport either. And so tonight, here's where we are. We're having new riots reported, or disturbances at least, outside migrant hotels, the length and breadth of our great country. What's Starmer's reaction? Does he say, we're not having this again, we're going to clamp down it? No. He set up a new police team, wait for it, to monitor tweets. Front page of the Sunday Telegraph. It's all over the proper news channels as well. Yes, he thinks the most important thing is to make sure there aren't any nasty, hurty words about migrants and migrant hotels. He's going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. Again, I'm sorry. It gives the impression that we are the enemy. We are the enemy, the decent, silent majority of this great country, regardless of the skin color, regardless of our religion. It's not the illegal immigrants this time. It's us. We're the baddies. We're the evil. We're the far right. So they're going to monitor your tweets. I don't know about you. It's a cliche. I want the police to police the streets, not the tweets. Are you with me or against me? Please send in your comments. I'm coming to you as soon as I can. And then on top of that, Yvette Cooper, and I've got her in the picture behind me today. Yvette Cooper, she's turned around and basically said, anybody who puts more than 80 people in a dinghy, we're going to prosecute them. Oh, Yvette, I bet the people smugglers are shitting themselves at you. You're so hard. You're like Anne Widdecombe on speed. You pathetic imbecile. That's not going to put people off. That's not the answer. The answer is to take them back as soon as they land. The answer is mass deportation. The answer is put them in secure, old Ministry of Defence units. As my guest said on my last podcast, Kevin, he's worked with these people. He's worked in their communities. He's been the commander at Notting Hill Festival when it kicked off. This man knows what he's talking about. But you, Yvette, it's all cuddly. And if anybody's out of order, it's the working class. The working class who are worried about their kids, Yvonne. This is what they're worried, Yvette, sorry. I'll tell you exactly what they're worried about. They're worried that their children could be attacked. Because what you and Keir Starmer are doing, and what you've done since the very beginning of all this, whether it's over migrants or whether it's over this attack, you've put the rights and the feelings, in my opinion, of the invaders or the migrants or the madmen before the decent, silent majority. So you've played a form of Russian roulette with our children and with our women, our daughters, our mums, etc., etc. Talking to Lisa about this morning. She's so liberal, it's unbelievable. But she says she drove through Warwick yesterday. She said the streets, this is her words, are teeming with young men. I said, well, that's because they're all staying at that hotel on the Longbridge Island. She said, well, are they allowed just to come and go? Yes, they are, Lisa. Well, that's not very sensible, she said. As I say, she's a liberal. You've got to do what Kevin said. You've got to put them under lock and key. And if they don't like it, they can F off back to Calais and stay in a tent. And on that subject, as I keep saying, and it's going to come true because suddenly people are coming around to my way of thinking, get them out of the hotels, get the squeezy soap off them, and get them in tents. And these things are tied together. So just like Southport, instead of being honest with us, they're lying to us. It's not even just Starmer, it's previous governments as well. Why don't they trust white working class people? I'm not condoning the riots, of course I'm not. And people who wanted to burn down hotels, that was wrong. But when you see things like Lucy Collins being put in prison for 31 months just for horrid words, which they were, but which she took down almost immediately, you wonder about two-tier justice. You wonder about two-tier policing. And you do begin to think, this is going to kick off. Even Lisa said to me, but they're all young men. I said, yeah, young men of fighting age. In Warwick, the beautiful market town of Warwick. And where are they staying? The hotel's right on the outskirts of Warwick. But it's a walk. I used to do that walk myself. It's not that far to walk into town. What are the government thinking of? I'm surprised there's not been a protest there. I think there was a few months ago. There will be again. And like in Epping, they've had that protest. They're now going to close it down and probably put them in army camps. But now every city, every town in the country is going to use the same techniques. Because do you know what, Sir Keir? We don't want any of them. Most of us believe in immigration, well-controlled, managed immigration. I certainly do. But I do not believe that just because you get in a dinghy on the beaches of Dunkirk or Calais, you should jump the queue and get into our country. Madness. A country without borders is not a country. And if it kicks off tonight, I'd really be lovely to be at the golf course tomorrow when Starmer meets Trump, because Trump is just going to lay into him. He's already said we are losing Europe. And he's right, isn't he? So tonight, I'm asking you, is Starmer still ignoring the real crisis, the real problem? Secondly, is Starmer and his pathetic government, including Yvette Cooper, gaslighting the public? And here's the third one. Are we about to watch Southport 2.0 erupt tonight? Please comment. Please share this feed now, because the silence last year lit the fuse. Just what happens if we ignore it again? I need your opinions. I'm going to come straight to them now. Got one? Let me hear it. So the bottom line is it going to kick off again? And if you're enjoying the podcast, the broadcast, whatever you want to call it, please press the like button. I know it's an extra one. This is why I tell you, sign up, subscribe to John Gaunt TV on YouTube, and then you'll get the alert that I'm going live. I only decided to do it a couple of hours ago, but I didn't want to wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow we may well be talking about the aftermath of any trouble that happens today. I don't want it to happen. I don't want police officers to be attacked. It's not their bloody fault. What I want is a government that listens to its people. We are the people. We are the country. But Starmer is a coward, an absolute coward. He's a liar. He's a charlatan, and he should not be in charge of this great country. He is partly responsible for the riots last summer. Some would say largely responsible. And Yvette Cooper, well, what is she? She only ever gets interviewed by her old man on GMTV. Soft interviews. She hasn't got a bloody clue. I'm going to prosecute. If you get more than 80 people in that boat, that'll be dangerous, and I'm going to prosecute you. Daft. They will already be here by then. Build. We don't even have to build these things. You don't. This is the thing that I spoke to Kevin, the ex-commander of the police. If you're not listening to that podcast, listen to it as soon as you finish this one. It's easy. We've already got these old camps. Loads of accommodation. Put them in there. Don't let them out in the day just to roam about. If they don't like it, show them where the word exit is. No doubt it'll be in 15 different languages, and F them off. Is that too extreme? Legitimate people, we can soon find out who they are. Oh, and that's the same thing. We should give a clear message to the world. Anybody who turns up without a passport, i.e. chucks it into the channel, you're definitely not getting in if you can't prove where you're from. This is what we've got to do. No more tales about, I don't like the chicken nuggets back in Pakistan or wherever godforsaken place they've come from. No, no. Oh, I've suddenly realized I'm a homosexual. No, just get out. Legitimate people who've got something to offer, fine. They can then come through the proper channels. If we don't stop this now, well, the British people are speaking anyway, because he's ignored the British people. The British people are revolting. And he's going to have a major problem if he isn't careful. And he can't just clamp down on it. Like last time he said, I don't want to know the reasons, the excuses. I'm just going to stop it. And then he basically gave a directive, which is wrong, to the judges, which is how people like Lucy Connolly ended up in prison for 31 months. If you see, or if you haven't seen it yet, watch that Channel 4 documentary. It isn't like a normal documentary where there's some bleeding heart liberal narrating it. It's just different clips from different people who were following the events from all political persuasions. And he's strung them together. And it's the most powerful bit of TV I've seen in months. And it sums up what happened one day in Southport. You can get it on Channel 4 Catch Up, whatever it's called. Okay, let's go to your comments. If you are enjoying this, please feel free to donate. Just press that dollar button and send me a little gift, anything you want, and a few quid. Thank you very much indeed. Or you can go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and donate anything from £5 or upwards. We're not going to be here forever today because we're all going to be watching the football and cheering the Lionesses on later. But let's have a see what's going on here. Steve Merrill, it says here 807. I don't think it can be, but he says he's just given me a load of claps. Thank you very much indeed, Steve. The government have now, this is James Morrison on Facebook. The government have now can a step into Orwell. Please read what you've written. Anyway, I think he's trying to say the government have taken a massive step into Orwell with a massive clampdown on freedom. People who must be warned. Do not vent your anger on Facebook board platforms. Rubbish. Is that you saying that? Are you saying that's what the government's trying to do, James? I say ignore what the government is saying. I say don't go on there and incite violence. Of course, use your sense. But don't be silenced. That's what they're trying to do. That's why all these things come together. That's why they're closing down the pubs. That's why there's been an attack on hospitality. We, the people, must speak. We must talk. 15 likes. That's really good for Sunday afternoon. Just a matter of time when the British have had a bellyful of this tool, says Amy Hung. I presume you're talking about Starmer. Thank you very much for your comments. Diane Waterman says they don't care. It's all in the WEF agenda. And well, yeah, I know, but let's not go down the conspiracy theory. It's worse than that because it's not that organised. Starmer's just a prat. Starmer hasn't got a clue. There's not some great agenda. He's just putting everybody else before the British people. It's dead simple. Denise Deacon, the first government failed to put a stop to Axel being free in the community to commit these horrific acts. That's true. That was Labour. Secondly, this government failed to give us the correct... They had 3 chances to put him away. And I think one of them was Conservatives. So I'm getting them mixed up. However, let's carry on from there, Denise. I do apologise. Secondly, this government failed to give us the correct information about him, therefore causing the riots. I'm not so sure I'd go so far as say causing, but definitely contributing to it. He could have put a lid on it if he just said, look, can you all stop being stupid? He's not a Muslim. He was born in Cardiff, but he is from a Rwandan background. He's in custody, and we're now investigating him. And we can't tell how old he is because he's just 17. But we're getting the law to look into that. That's all Starmer had to say. And when he didn't say it, and it all kicked off, he should have apologised. But he never apologises. He never apologises. He's a liar, a liar, a liar. And no doubt Gaunt is going down for all this one. We'll see. They forgot we, the British people, put them in power, and we can take the power away from them. Fair point, Denise, but not, of course, for another 4 years. unless his miserable government collapses, which is a good chance of that happening. We're in a terrible position. We're up the creek without a paddle at the moment. John, I think that Starmer is a dictator. Well, no, because a dictator would have a clear plan. That's the worst thing about Starmer. He has no plan. They made a big thing about the adults are back in the room. Well, they're not, are they? These are a bunch of sixth formers, not clever enough to do A-levels, all wanting to sell the socialist worker down the precinct on a Saturday. They're morons. No policies. And now that the real left-wingers are leaving, he's buggered anyway. Did you see how many people have signed up saying they're interested in that new party by Corbyn? Unbelievable. Sorry, I just needed to have a drink of water. Jackie Ward, this government is just hopeless. They're almost inviting riots. I think that's a fair comment. They need to stop the pull factor and the problem is diminished. It's not rocket science. I am in despair. Jackie, I agree. It isn't rocket science, which is why I've been saying, put the army on the beach. Put the Navy in the channel. Have secure centres. Put them up in tents in old airfields. Don't allow them to walk into Warwick during the daytime. They're meant, if we believe the bullshit, they're meant to be escaping custody, not custody, persecution. Well, they won't mind then, will they, being secure? Because if you can't get out, then you can't get in. It's just nonsense. They're coming here for a better life. And let me please stress, I don't blame them. But we can't have them all. But let's go back to the Southport atrocity. Because you know, as sure as eggs is eggs, it'll happen again. And then some div, like Yvette Cooper, will say, it was terrible. But don't look back in anger. Let's sing Kumbaya together. Because again, they'll start saying, we're very worried about revenge attacks, even though there's no real evidence that there was widespread revenge. Even after 9/11 and 7/7, I was on air the day that 7/7 happened. Londoners didn't turn on their Muslim friends and neighbours. Because people know it's nutcases who do this. Rudy Cabana, why is he still alive? Why don't we just execute the bastard? All this nonsense about his human rights. Now he's in a cell. It takes 6 prison wardens to get all tooled up in riot gear before they can open the door. I just wouldn't open the door. Let him starve to death. I don't give a shit. But no, he's allowed to do chores in the prison and get sweeties off his mum and dad. You couldn't make this up. We have a government who are looking after the minority, the lawbreakers, the foreigners, the feckless, the freeloaders, rather than you, who tomorrow morning with a thick head after our ladies win tonight and staying in the pub till late, you go to work to provide for your kids. Your government, these two people, Starmer and Cooper, despise you. You do understand that, don't you? In fact, it's the whole political establishment. Doesn't matter which party. But we've got to get tough on this one. We've got to have a right to know. Are you with me or against me? Pete Chambers on YouTube. This is the beginning. We saw a mother abused by immigrants. She spoke her mind back and facts. She was arrested. The government have only got themselves to blame. Remember, they are a few. We are the many, says Pete Chambers. Yeah, but Pete, I hope you're not inciting people to go out there and start rioting, because in the end, that isn't the answer. But I don't know if these people will listen. Where's Starmer this weekend? He's off to see Trump tomorrow to give his bottom another lick. Yeah, he seems to enjoy that. He should be dealing with the problems here. Why hasn't he made one of his poxy videos saying, we're with you? Where's his thoughts on Southport? I know today's Sunday and the true anniversary of the terrible, terrible, savage attack is Tuesday, but you'd normally do it a few days ahead. He's a coward. I'm sorry, he's a coward. And let's not forget, it's Rudy Cabana who caused this, of course. But then maybe it's our lax immigration or our lax idea of bringing society together. That documentary finished with Keir Starmer doing his speech about a land full of strangers. You've created it, you and Blair, and a whole load of other people, police chiefs and stuff. Oh, do whatever you want to do. What, you want to deface Winston Churchill statue? On you go. You want to skateboard over London bridges and stop everyone getting to work? Oh, you want to stop an ambulance getting to work? On you go. And now we got the bloody doctors using similar techniques. The world has gone mad. Are you with me or against me? Andrew Duncan, the sad facts are that due to Starmer and co being cowards, John, I think it's a near certainty that some serious civil unrest is already being planned. I don't know if it's been... See, I don't even know if it's planned. They proved that in that documentary. It wasn't planned. Starmer made that lie up. He said it was all being coordinated by anarchists and far-right nutcases. It wasn't. It was mostly spontaneous. And then, of course, you're always going to get hooligans, aren't you, at any event to try and cause trouble. But the majority of the people I saw on that documentary last night, they were just ordinary people, totally and utterly destroyed by what's happening in their community. 17 likes. Let's have some more. Click the like button. I hope not, but I can't see a way out of it, says Andrew. Thank you, Andrew Duncan. Oh, and Andrew Duncan, I'm just going to say thank you again. You've just contributed £2 on a super sticker. Thank you. He's just pressed the little $sign at the bottom of the YouTube video, just beneath the video. If you could do that, it'd really help. Remember, these are completely and utterly self-funding. So without you supporting me, and we're going to have to start a prison fund soon, because by the look of it, I read that article today. I'm surprised I haven't already been arrested. Craig, I don't want to be a bore, mate, but you coming on and just giving comment after comment after comment isn't really playing the game. I'll read out this one, but then stop doing it so that other people can get on. Yeah, be fair. John, I agree with you about not being able to control my temper. If I was in that situation with one of my kids was in that room and that nasty piece of work. Thank you for talking also about Lucy Connolly, right? Okay, so if you could just do that, that would be good. Thank you. Now, that's it. If they put as much effort into stopping the boats as they do to monitoring social media, we wouldn't have a problem in the first place. Well, you see, the whole thing is I'm saying put the Navy in the channel. You don't even need to do that. If you just send out a clear video message, this is where you will be staying. Please note, no squeezy soap. Please note, no swimming pool. Please note, no nice grounds to walk around. Please note, no fitness centre. Please note, just basic food. Please note, you'll be sharing. I saw some div liberal saying it's outrageous they're making people share a room. You what? I'd put 4 or 5 in a room, and they should be grateful. And then if you say that, you're a racist. It's just moronic what the liberal, uber liberal left come out with. The rubbish they come out with. Anyway, who's this? Denise Deacon. If they just read that one, haven't I? Sorry. Suzanne Jones. Hi, Suzanne. If you're fleeing from war, you bring your family with you. But all these young fighting age men coming in illegally, it's different, isn't it? You're right. The Trojan horse is here. The enemy is within, waiting for a call to arms. Exactly. Pete Chambers, he's whacked in a quid or 99p on a super sticker. Thank you, Pete. It all counts. Thank you very, very much indeed. If you'd like to contribute, just press that little $sign on the bottom. Right. I just want to go to the second part of the show now. Which is this. Wait a minute. So I just don't understand how we move on. A year after Southport was torn apart by the violence and indeed misinformation and some far-right nutcases, riots, protests are breaking out again. Epping, Norfolk, Manchester, somebody just said on GB News when I was just getting ready to start. Britain is heading for another summer of chaos, isn't it? So Keir Starmer, why is he still pursuing the same PR technique, i.e. stay silent, don't say anything, don't tell them your name, Pike? It's like Captain Mainwaring on speed. Why is he still blaming and making out that it's just far-right nutcases when it isn't? Why is he still doing the stupid photo ops and the silly videos? Why would he rather be shaking President Trump's hand or meeting the president, or what's his name, Modi of India? Why is he doing that? Why is he trying to be the big statesman whilst our own country is on fire? So why is he doing the same thing? Why will we now get no information if there is a serious attack? I'm already thinking the only people I see talking about it in any form of mainstream news, i.e. on a telly, are GB News. And they're saying there have been protests in other cities. I put the BBC on, nothing. Silence. Silence is golden. ITV, the same. Why do they think they have a right to set the news agenda rather than saying this is what's happening? They don't trust us. That's why. Lord Carlisle, he says the government have failed to inform and protect. Their own terrorism czar, Jonathan Hall, KC, says it was a serious mistake. Have I been in a coma, or did I miss the moment when our glorious, our supreme leader apologised? Did I miss that? I must have done. Maybe he did it as he ran towards his Range Rover. I couldn't believe the speed that went away at. I hadn't clapped. I was watching that all live. I think I was watching it on Sky News the afternoon when Starmer turned up. But you see, there you're getting it from their cameras. When you see it being filmed by several people on their mobiles, people who were just in the crowd, it's terrifying. Because you hear him as he walks forward in that pompous way with that useless bloody chief constable. There's me going to prison. And he's got the white wreath, and he's got that other stupid woman culture secretary, Lisa Nandy, with him, right? And he's got Yvette Cooper, as much use as a chocolate fucking fireguard with him. He's got the wreath, right? And I'm sure I bet he's checked how he's walking and all the rest of it. And then you hear mutterings. What about our kids? Keir Starmer, what about our children? How many more children are going to die? Keir, how many more? And you could see him bristle. At that moment, he should have turned, obviously put the wreath down, turned and said, I'd like to speak to you for a minute. And he didn't. Why? Because he's spineless. I've eaten blancmanges with better spines than him. And that's when it all started to go tits up. He may still have done anyway, but please communicate. And now, his reaction to the threat of more riots, more protests, he's going to monitor your tweets. He's getting coppers off the street to monitor social media because he believes there's a load of right-wing nutcases out there who want to bring down the government. Well, there's a load of people out there who want to bring down you, Starmer. That's a different thing. It's terrifying what is happening. It's like that new online protection thing. You got to put your age in or whatever you got to do. They're even doing it if you look on something on Wikipedia. I'll be banned. Next. And meanwhile, Yvette Cooper. What did Richard Littlejohn call a pixie or Tinkerbell? She's useless. Her latest thing is there's too many migrants getting in a rubber dinghy, and if people get more than 80 in, I'm going to arrest them. It's really listen, I don't want people to die as they come across, and that bloke having a heart attack the other day is terrible. But Yvette, how about opening up old military of defence institutions and saying to all the people, whilst they're in Calais, you get Patrick, whatever his name is, Christie, to go over and tell them, because he seems to know where to find them. You don't. MI5, all the rest of them. You don't know where these people are, allegedly. He could go over and tell them, look, there's no point going to Britain. They're going to lock you up and you're not going to come out. You're not even going to be allowed to walk into Warwick. That'd soon put them off. But no, she thinks threatening them with prosecution for getting more than 80 in a boat. What does she think? Just think it's fucking Rag Week or something. You know, when we used to all get, how many people could you get in a Mini or a Volkswagen Beetle? Is that where her brain is? And I do want to commend Channel 4. That documentary, One Day in Southport, is very, very good. Very interesting. Very exciting at first, then depressing when you watch it. Does everything that TV or drama should do. It's not drama, it's real. So if you haven't watched it, watch it now. But I feel that all of us now just feel ignored, misled, and I'm sorry to say it, Mr. Starmer, bloody angry. So I'm not here to calm it down, mate. I'm just here to simply tell the truth as I see it. And my truth is, you are an enemy of the UK people. And you, Yvette Cooper, you're both enemies. Of course, you're not like Axel Rudicabana. I've put his picture with you behind me because I'm making a point. But no doubt when you get me in court, you'll say, he was saying they're as bad as them. No, I wasn't. But I don't think you're a friend of the British people. I don't think you are a comrade. I think your whole lousy Labour government, and indeed many Conservatives, the whole political establishment, really, I think you're the enemy of the people. You are. Because you seem intent on destroying our country. Like that bloody chief constable in Epping, he's an enemy of the people as well. Just my opinion. And whilst I'm still allowed to have my opinion in Keir Starmer's Stalinist state, I'm going to keep saying it. If you can help me, feel free to donate now. Press that donate button and give me a couple of quid. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Because this isn't just a show. This is a bit pretentious, but I think it gets the point over. This isn't just a show. This is a bloody warning. Do you agree with me? Tony Hodgkinson says the only people traffickers I see are our own government. That's harsh, but I understand what you mean. John, I've got a picture you need to see. It's a government position. I found it on Gov website. Sharia law administrator. I shit you not. Yeah, we have Sharia law in certain areas. Like we have Jewish law. We should have neither, but that's a different issue. Those in government need to be held to account for what happens. On Facebook, says Graham Coleman. Good to have you on board, Graham. Pete Chambers now says he's posted it to my Twitter account. I will look at it later. Thank you. John, I remember 7/7 because I used to live next door to one of the bombers. I think you'd remember it anyway, wouldn't you? Surely. Tents on an old airfield would be good enough for these people. Ronnie Hurst says, don't give them phones or money. That's true. And then Songs of Life by Mel Plant says, what option does Starmer do now? As Corbyn's party is made of legal and Labour's hard left and Muslim voters join him en masse. Yeah, I was into what you're saying. So what you're saying, he's going to have a problem because a lot of the illegals, Labour's hard left and the Muslim voters are joining him en masse. True. Does he call an election now or leave it and watch his voters go to Corbyn? Well, the truth is, Mel, whatever he does, he's toast. He's finished. He is the enemy of the people. He's betrayed the people and the people have seen straight through. The problem, of course, there's nobody else. Not in what you call establishment politics. Our only hope, and I'm still not 100% convinced, is Nigel Farage and or reform. Got to try something different. Tomorrow, I'm doing an interview in the morning, 9 o'clock, with the man who used to run the Fair Fuel campaign. Do you remember him? Mr. Cox. He's now working with Ben Habib. He stood to be reform mayor for London. And then he's had a fallout with Nigel Farage. So it'll be interesting to see what he says. Howard Cox, his name is. What he says about Ben Habib and indeed about Rupert Lowe. I mean, at the moment, I think they're pissing in the wind because I don't think they've got a chance against reform. And I'd rather they all unite. But maybe he'll convince me differently. I'm pre-recording that tomorrow morning, and it'll be going up on Tuesday. So you now need to really keep across my channels, particularly John Gaunt TV. And there's an easy way of doing it. Just press that subscribe button if you're watching the video now, or later on your phone or on your computer. Google John Gaunt TV YouTube. It will come up and it will give you the option to subscribe. Now, don't worry. Doesn't mean you have to commit any money or pay any money whatsoever. Just subscribe. It's like so you're on the mailing list, basically. Then every time I do a show, you will get a notification that I'm going live. Then you won't miss anything. Plus, you can then look through the whole archive of what I've done so far. And then if you like it all, or even like a bit of it, maybe you would be so kind as to go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and either buy me a coffee or buy me a beer. £5 a time. Most people get 3, so thank you. Or a couple of quid like you've seen today, one of these super fan things. Just click that little dollar sign. You can afford a couple of quid. You can afford a £5. Don't do it if you can't. Don't do it if you can't. But if you can, help support me. I've upped the number of things I'm doing. We now do a minimum of 4 podcasts a week. Don't forget they're at 6 o'clock, 6:30 every night. I normally do one on Sunday. There won't be one next Sunday because it's my daughter's birthday. But I normally do one on Sunday as well. And I do extra ones in the week. And I'm now doing the set piece interviews. And if you've not listened to my 2 set piece interviews, both with Kevin's as it happens, Kevin Foster, who was in the Conservative government for 9 years, worked under Priti Patel. He's got some damning things to say about the Conservatives and indeed about Starmer. But it's interesting because he's been in government, not like a top minister, but he's been there. And he's a nice bloke to boot. And the other one is the ex-commander for police, Kevin. Now, Kevin has done the Notting Hill Carnival. He was in charge of terrorism. His experience is unbelievable. And he gave me a great interview, and you can find it on YouTube. Dead simple. Watch it or listen to it when you're walking the dog. Because don't forget, all of my stuff is on podcasts as well. So you can either listen or watch, or you can do both. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's not the BBC. If you don't contribute, you're not going to prison. You might be soon, though, because Yvette Cooper's going to clamp down on nasty things on the internet, and they might have you down. Oh, he listened to that John Gaunt. Lock him up. Send him down. I need Neville out of the specials to do his Judge Dredd voice there, don't I? Anyway, I'm digressing. I got to go because I'm going to watch football. Good luck to the women later. Let's hope they can bring it home. I'll be back tomorrow night at 6:30 for my usual Monday show. In the meanwhile, before the football starts, why don't you look at all of my podcasts, all of my videos, and have a listen to a few more. Don't forget to press the like button. And please, if you can donate, chuck a few quid in the pot. I say, Yvette Cooper, Keir Starmer, you are enemies of the people. You've got to change direction. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.